everybody, it's me, Jill, and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of Sister Wives, Season 18, Episode 2. Thanks for nothing. All right, before I begin Episode 2, I just want to say, I know I did a lot of explaining in Episode 1 for those of you who don't watch Sister Wives, or at least I tried to do a lot of explaining on like who's who and a little bit of like what kids belong to which of the wives. But I will just say from now on, I think I'm just going to kind of recap the episode, do minimal explaining. And then if you guys are lost, leave your questions in the comments and I or somebody who watches the show will answer you just so you like have a good handle on this family. Okay. So episode 2 is kind of a continuation of episode 1 where Christine, wife number 2, has just divorced Cody and she has asked him to meet her at a restaurant for lunch so that they can talk about the upcoming holidays as it pertains to like their youngest child, Truly. I think Truly's 11 or something like that. And I guess Cody says something to Christine about how he's still pretty angry. And she goes, "Really? Are you still angry?" And he goes, "Yeah, I've been pretty grouchy and very, very angry. I lost it on Janelle the other day." Then we flash back to that scene. It was actually filmed for season 17, where they were all sitting outside, 6 feet apart, COVID rules. And that was when Janelle had said something about her boys are not going to give you an apology or something like that. Janelle is pretty adamant about the fact that she believes that Cody is insisting that her sons apologize to Robin and or him, I guess, before they're allowed in his house, which would mean before they would be allowed over for Thanksgiving. Janelle's not going to make her sons do that. And so in the flashback scene, Cody's getting kind of angry with her. She gets up and she's like, "I've had enough." And she walks away and Cody like threatens her with "That would be a very bad idea, Janelle, for you to walk away right now." Gross. Anyway, so Cody does not want to be at this lunch with Christine. He doesn't ever want to see her again. In his confessional, he said, "It isn't Christine's face that bothers me. It's her talking to our children behind my back about the reason she left me." I mean, most of the kids are adults. So, I mean, most of his children with Christine, other than Truly. So for her to talk to them about why she left, I'm sorry, I think that's understandable. If my adult daughter asked me why I left her father, I would explain it to her. I mean, he probably thinks she's just trashing him. But the thing that bothers me about that is they're your kids too, Cody. And so if you have a side to the story, talk to your children. You act like there's nothing you can do about it because Christine is poisoning them against you. Well, call them. Explain yourself. This is not, by the way, the first time that Cody acts like they are her children and not his. He does that really with all the wives. That's your daughter. That's Mary's daughter. Janelle's son. Although, not Robin. Robin and I and the kids, or Robin and our kids. And the funny thing is, 3 of those kids are not Cody's biologically. And that's, listen, I'd be the last person to say that he shouldn't call them his children. Of course he should. I'm just saying in comparison to the fact that he doesn't do that with his other biological children. It's kind of a slap in the face. In Christine's confessional, she's like, "Look, Cody can call me names, he can hate me, that's fine. But when he tells me that I am pitting him against the kids, no. That is not true. I'm their sounding board. They have issues and they come to me and I listen." So then Cody, oh God. Cody tells her that it isn't really, he's not so angry and bothered by the fact that Christine left, so much as bothered by the fact that she ruined his big picture. His idea of what his future would look like and what his big family would look like. And Christine ruined that. So, gee, thanks, honey. Glad to know it isn't that your love for me is what's tearing you apart. I mean, I'm sorry. He's basically making Christine's point. It isn't her that he cares about. And if you're wondering why I watched this show so adamantly for 18 seasons, he was not always like this. I told you guys why I started watching. I was absolutely intrigued with the idea that this could work, this plural family. Why would it work? Why would any woman put up with this? Whatever. I was intrigued by that, and I wanted to see quickly within probably the first season, you get kind of wrapped up in the family themselves. Not polygamy as a whole, but the Brown family. And how does the Brown family operate? What is their day-to-day operation like? Who cooks? Who watches the children? Who works? Like, that became fascinating to me then. And quite honestly, I have to say, Cody kind of grew on me. And I think most people. He was funny and fun. He seemed like a very good dad. He, made the rounds, and he seemed like he was very involved in the kids' lives. I mean, there are people in monogamous marriages where the dad doesn't have a lot to do with the children because he's working all the time or whatever. This just felt like, wow, okay. I mean, this guy, all right. I was getting on board with Cody. And then the other thing that I thought was very interesting was that the wives seem to have not only a lot of autonomy, but like they seem to have a real equal partnership. Isn't quite exactly right, because it never really seemed exactly equal, but they definitely got their way a lot, and they had their say, and there was a lot of democracy in this crazy patriarchy. There was a lot of, voting on stuff and the wives winning, or majority winning. It wasn't just Cody, even though Cody, it would come up from time to time. Cody would be like, well, I'm the man, I'm the leader, I'm the patriarch of this family. The women all were kind of like, yeah, okay. And then they would do what they wanted anyway. And then I was kind of, like I said, invested in the Brown family. As the years went on, it became storylines about the children and the various things that were happening with the children and how they dealt with that stuff as the kids got older. And then that was interesting to me. So anyway, those of you just coming in now, I know what you're thinking, like, oh, this guy. And you're right, because right now it's like he's trying to revert back to what he thinks the leader of a polygamous family should be, where he's got to put his foot down and, what he says is the law of the land kind of stuff. And it's gross. It is. But just trust me, it was not always that way. Anyway, Cody saying that Christine ruined his big picture. In Christine's confessional, she said, no, it was Cody over the last 10 years that ruined his big picture. So anyway, as they're sitting in this restaurant, Cody admits that he has anger management problems. And he said, yeah, I mean, maybe I need to go see a counselor. Just, someone to help me not hate you so that I don't talk bad to the kids about you. That's what I fear the most. What? The thing you accused her of? Boy, that happens a lot, doesn't it? People accuse other people of doing something that they themselves have done or are thinking about doing. It's projecting. So he projected onto her that she must be trashing him to their children because he hates her so much that he's afraid that he would do the same thing. But he hasn't yet. Probably because he never calls the children. He doesn't have any conversations with his kids. Anyway, Christine in her confessionals, she is still like just so happy and light. She goes, yeah, if you need some kind of post-breakup counseling, that's fine. She just doesn't care. In direct contrast to that, we have Robin's confessional. Now, I've never done this because I don't know. I don't like the name calling stuff so much, but everybody calls her Sobbin' Robin, or they just call her Sobbin because she is she is a professional victim. And I never, until I heard or saw people on social media calling her Sobbin, I never really thought about how often she cried. And I guess maybe I was kind of, drawn up into her drama in a way that like I was kind of buying into it. Oh, she's really hurt about that though, and I was feeling compassion. I'm kind of looking at Robin different this season, you guys. Now in Robin's confessional, she goes, I think Cody could use some counseling because He's dealing with so much. So now we know where Cody got the idea of going to counseling. He is so influenced by Robin. It's crazy. She put the counseling idea in his head. I'm sure of it. Anyway, Robin goes on to say, I don't mean to pass judgment, but I don't think either one of them, Cody or Christine, did anything so horrible that their marriage had to end. It's not about that, Robin. Christine has felt unfulfilled for years. She hasn't had the intimacy that she wanted from Cody, probably since you came into the family. Maybe before, but definitely since you came into the family. And she wanted more for herself and for her life. And that's it. She left to have a more fulfilled life. All right, so finally this awkward lunch ends with Christine and Cody. Christine said that she just hopes that they could get to a place where they're friends. I would just, we're going to be in each other's lives forever with the kids. So it would be nice if we could just, enjoy each other's company. I'd like to get to that place. And Cody's like, well, yeah, okay. So he leaves, and in his confessional, he said, I will never enjoy her company again. I mean, to be fair, it's a little optimistic of Christine to think that would happen. And also, because here's the thing. Christine leaves him and she's thrilled. She's the happiest she's ever been. She feels a weight lifted off of her. You can see it in her face. You can hear it in her voice. She feels free, and probably freer than she's felt in, like she said, 10 years maybe. Cody, on the other hand, he never felt suppressed or upset by his relationship with Christine. It was the way he wanted it to be, lacking in intimacy and, infrequent visits. That was fine, because he was a polygamist and she was one of 4 wives and not the wife he liked to spend the most time with. So, of course, he's not in the same place she is. He's not feeling a weight lifted and everything. He's feeling like his big picture of having multiple wives is getting ruined by her. So, I don't know. For her to suggest that they be friends and enjoy each other's company, let's just say, Christine, you're a lot closer to being able to do that than Cody is. All right, next it is Thanksgiving, and I remember during COVID, they were just filming this show on their own phones. That's what this feels like. Cody's just on his phone talking to us. So he just says, well, it's Thanksgiving. I'm here at Robin's with Mary and the kids. The kids, not Robin's kids, but the kids. And this is the 2nd year in a row without my whole family here. In Christine's confessional, she said she's going to Aspen and Mitch's. Aspen is Christine and Cody's oldest child, and she got married on the show to her husband, Mitch. We saw that. They live in Utah somewhere. I'm not exactly sure. So Christine is now in Salt Lake City. She and Truly and her son Peyton are going there for Thanksgiving. Janelle is in North Carolina at her daughter Maddie's. Maddie is Cody and Janelle's oldest daughter, and she is married to Caleb. And they also got married on the show. I think that was the first child to get married. Janelle is there with Maddie and Caleb, their 2 kids, and Savannah, Janelle's youngest daughter, and Isabel, who is actually Christine's daughter. But Isabel is living in North Carolina with Maddie because she's going to college there. In Janelle's confessional, she said, I was just having so much fun at Thanksgiving, and I was starting to think I should feel guilty about this, about not being with the family in Flagstaff, but I was just really happy here. She said that she was planning on spending Thanksgiving in Flagstaff, but then the issue of what was required of her boys before they went was looming, and she wanted no part of that. She said, I delivered the information to my sons. I said, this is what Cody wants from you. He wants an apology for Robin or whatever. That's it. I delivered the information. Cody needs to do something. He's the head of the family. In Cody's confessional, he said, I made the mistake of not managing my family properly. And Christine has left now, and Janelle has decided that she'd rather hang out with Christine. So just so you know, what he means by I made the mistake of not managing my family properly, all the stuff in the beginning seasons that I told you I kind of liked about him, that the women had kind of a voice in this plural marriage, and it was more of a democracy. They voted on things. That's what he means by mistake. He thinks that he should have been stricter and sterner from the beginning, that the man is the leader and the ruler of the family, and that's what he's talking about. The thing that made him human and sort of likable at the beginning is what he regrets. But yeah, I mean, and now look at him. Now he's, for the second year in a row, he's having Thanksgiving with his wife, their kids, and basically an ex-wife who won't leave. It is so weird. Poor Mary has gone from his only wife to his first wife, his only legal wife, to divorced so that he could legally marry Robin, to a nuisance at best. Cody doesn't want Mary around, but he won't divorce her because that's not in his religion. So it's just so weird. And Robin is desperate to have Mary stick around. Because I said this before, I don't think Robin wants to be in a monogamous relationship. So Christine's already left. I think she sees the writing on the wall with Janelle, and she is desperate for Mary not to leave. It would be like if your spouse got to be best friends with your ex, and now you had to spend holidays with your ex too. That's what it feels like. Oh my God, Robin in her confessional. Am I going to start calling her Sabin? I don't like doing that, but jeez, give me something to work with, Robin. Don't make me do it. Here's her confessional. My 3 older kids have dealt with such rejection, and they asked the question, why? Why don't the others care? She's talking about why the rest of them aren't there for Thanksgiving. And she goes, I just have to remind them that it isn't personal, and I apologize to them for being innocent parties in all this. Okay, or why don't you explain to your older kids who are feeling rejected why the other children and other wives aren't there? Because during COVID, those other kids never got to see their dad. He spent all his time with you 3. And they felt rejected. Their dad never made an effort to figure out how to see them. Look, if those boys, couldn't stay home from work during COVID, their jobs were ones where they had to go in for it, and Cody was worried that they might expose the whole family to COVID, then figure out a way you can see them outside, 6 feet apart, like you're doing now. Figure it out. They're your kids. You don't just not see your children. You're not divorced from their mother. I don't know. I could not have not seen my daughter. And you know what? He got COVID anyway. He and Robin, everyone except I think Aurora, got COVID in that family. And I should mention, one of the first people in the whole family that got COVID, their nanny. Robin, the only wife to have a nanny, the nanny who was coming in and out of their house got COVID. Yet Cody won't go and see his sons. Wow. Look, COVID, nobody knew exactly what was going on with COVID, and it was scary, and a lot of people got very, very sick, and a lot of people died. A lot of people had it and didn't even know they had it. We just didn't know. I'm not saying you should have been careless or whatever, but you don't just hole up in one wife's house for months and months and months, never seeing your other children. For a while, the plan was he was going to go from house to house and visit, but it wasn't, you were breaking up the entire family because especially the little kids, they didn't understand why they couldn't see their siblings from another mother. So you weren't letting any of the siblings intermix and see each other for months on end. And you were just, popping in here and there. And then eventually you stopped doing that too at Janelle's because of her sons. I don't know. I understand not knowing exactly how to handle it. What I don't understand is that you didn't try to figure out how can I keep all of us together. And also, Robin, don't teach your kids to be victims. They're teenagers. If they miss their siblings, they can call. It works both ways. They can text them. They can FaceTime with them. They can figure it out. I still haven't seen half of my siblings in real life since before COVID. And now we're, on opposite sides of the country. But once a month, we have a Zoom call. It feeds your soul a little bit just to see them, see their face and laugh and talk. And, we're on for like 3 hours a month. But it's fun and it feels like a get together. I mean, I haven't been able to hug them. I miss that. But that soon, that will come soon. I want to plan, some kind of a get together somehow. But so I kind of understand it, but also I know how good that Zoom call feels. And, Robin's kids who wonder, why, Mama? Why doesn't anyone love us? Why won't the others come and spend Thanksgiving with us? Call them. Call them yourself. Back to Cody's confessional. This is a weird one. He's very melancholy. He says that he hopes that he can get the whole family back together again one day. But for now, he's peaceful. I'm in a peaceful mood, surrounded by the part of my family who aren't offended by me. Oh my God. Mary says she's sad that the family holidays aren't what they used to be. Then we see a picture of like a past Thanksgiving. Good Lord. It looks like a high school cafeteria during lunch period. It is a lot of people. And then Cody just keeps blathering on about how he hopes that he can get love and devotion from the part of the family that isn't there right now. And that more than anything else is probably the most honest thing he said. He wants devotion. Okay, now it's the next day after Thanksgiving, and Christine is at her house in Salt Lake City, and her son Peyton is over, and she is teaching him how to make mock tapioca pudding. We get some confessionals with Peyton. He said that he never moved to Flagstaff with the family. He moved to St. George, which I think is in Utah. And he got a job, and then he joined the military. So Christine asked him how he was feeling about her moving to Salt Lake City and divorcing his dad. Peyton said he loved that she was in Salt Lake City because she's nearer to him. I guess it's still about 4 hours from St. George, but, doable. And Christine said, yeah, I mean, I just feel like I'm better as friends with Dad. And like, how do you feel about that? And Peyton said, well, I have my own issues with Dad. McKelty has her own issues with Dad. Aspen has her own issues with Dad. Side note, I'm not going to get into all the online stuff that's out there about everyone in this family because it's a lot. And I don't have a complete understanding of what's true and what isn't true. But I'll just say this. There is stuff out there about Peyton. I guess Peyton did a podcast and said things that weren't good. Maybe sort of misogynistic, maybe kind of anti-LGBTQ plus. I don't know what he said exactly, but I'm only telling you because it is in the back of my mind whenever I see him now. I'm trying to not let it affect how I feel about like the scene or something, but it's hard to not think about. So now Christine is like, she's feeling guilty, I guess, about leaving Cody. I mean, she's thrilled. Don't get me wrong. She doesn't think it's the wrong decision. I think she's feeling guilty maybe for her kids or something. Anyway, she's kind of like, Dad didn't like that I moved away, but I made the choices I made because and Peyton goes, Mom, he asked you not to go to Grandma's funeral. And she's like, I know. I don't know what that was. It was probably a COVID-related thing. However, he officiated his friend's wedding, and there are pictures of him like dancing up a storm. He did all that while he was restricting everybody else from, leaving their houses practically. So just saying, it's okay to feel a certain way about COVID, but then don't be a hypocrite. So anyway, in Peyton's confessional, he goes, look, my mom's kids and Janelle's kids have chosen a side. And as far as I know, they chose my mom. So Peyton says to her, okay, Dad chose Robin's family for Christmas because they wanted to do a Zoom call. And Christine goes, oh, well, that got blown way out of proportion. And I hope that can get fixed. In Peyton's confessional, he explains a few weeks ago, Logan is Janelle and Cody's oldest son, and he also happens to be the oldest child, period, of all the kids. I guess a few weeks ago, Logan texted the siblings in a group chat that he wanted to do a sibling gift exchange for Christmas. And somebody said, okay, great, let's tell all the parents about it. And then Robin gets very involved in it, and she said, let's do a video chat. Now we see Janelle's confessional. She said, it's hard for the kids to all get together on a Zoom. They're not opposed to it, but they just need to try and schedule it. Christine, in her confessional, said, the kids were all amiable. They just couldn't see how they could make it work. Side note, which I get because like I told you, we can't even get my whole family to do it once a month. So, and there aren't 127 of us. So now we see Robin's confessional. I was pushing for the video chat for the sake of the kids. And then when I was getting so much pushback, I thought, why am I even trying here? I'm like, fine, I'm out. Yeah, I get the feeling that Robin comes up with a lot of ideas and she doesn't like when they're not implemented. And, Cody does a lot of what Robin wants, but she can't control everybody else in the family. And I think that's irritating to her. And I think that's where maybe the pulling away started. And Cody, if you want all this, you better pick my side. That's kind of what I think is happening. In Christine's confessional, she goes, at one point, Robin said to me, my kids don't even remember who their siblings are. And Hunter is one of Janelle's sons. And Hunter said, well, one call's not going to help that. Then it got blown out of proportion and it turned into they didn't want to hang out. And then no one wanted to hang out. And suddenly all these feelings about when Robin came into the family started coming to the surface. Robin. Then it turned into a huge squabble between my kids and a bunch of the other kids. Mary's confessional, she's like, it just got really blown out of proportion, I think. Back to Christine's. Emotions were running high. And then Gwendolyn is one of her older daughters. Gwendolyn tried to lighten it up and that went really bad. Janelle. Everybody was trying to deflect, but it just kept spiraling. Then it was done. With some of the things expressed, I don't know if we can ever come back from it. Cody, when this text thread was going back and forth, I stayed out of it. I just ignored it. I wasn't going to pick sides. Janelle and Christine's kids have already chosen Janelle and Christine. I always wanted the whole family to spend Christmas together. Side note, again, I hate when he doesn't refer to them as his kids. Janelle and Christine's kids, look, I understand it's like for the sake of clarity or whatever, but I don't think it's just for the cameras. I think it's his mindset. Janelle's kids, Christine's kids. Robin's kids are our kids. Also, side note, I want to read this entire text thread so bad. Don't you? I want to know who said what, when, how things went off the rails. I want to see what Robin said when she got involved. All of it. Robin, it was a horrible day. It's just another example of them not wanting to be a family with us. It's been like that from the beginning. Okay. If that were true, then why did they invite your kids to be in the sibling gift exchange? They could have just started a text thread that didn't include your entire family. Nobody would know. They came up with an idea to have all the siblings do a grab bag or whatever. So you can't say they're just constantly not including your kids. I don't understand the Zoom call thing exactly. I do understand it's hard to get everybody together on a Zoom call. What I don't understand is what Robin was trying to do. Was she trying to just have them do a Zoom call instead of meeting in person for Christmas? I don't think so, because Cody said he wanted everyone there. She said, I suggested the Zoom call or the video chat for the sake of all the kids. I don't know what she meant by that. All I know is It's hard to get 10 people to do something. It's really hard to get 30 to all do the same thing. That's why I said they could do Zoom calls all the time. Whoever can make it can make it. That's what I keep citing my own family, but it's kind of a good plan. The Zoom call is set up at the same time every month, and whoever can make it hops on. And if you can't make it that month, okay. But, usually we get almost everybody, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes it's a small group. That's okay too. Can be on the Zoom call. I don't know why it was an all or nothing here with the Brown children, why they couldn't just whoever can make the Zoom be on it and then maybe have another one at a different time when somebody else could make it. I don't know. It just seems like maybe there just wasn't a huge effort to try to figure out a solution on both their parts. I'm not blaming either side for that. Anyway, Robin says, by the end of it, my kids, Aurora, Dayton, and Brianna, didn't feel comfortable being in the gift exchange anymore. Oh, I hope that wasn't you influencing them, Robin. Janelle goes, my kids walked away from this going, what the heck happened? In Peyton's confessional, he said, when we first went public, we did so to say, look, polygamy works. I don't think it works for my family anymore. Then Robin, in her confessional, my kids and I think it's stupid because we don't understand. And now it's just reaffirming that we're the outsiders and we're on the other side. We're not. We refuse to be. We don't know what else to do. Well, be in the gift exchange for one thing. You ostracized your children more by saying they're not going to be in it. So now come Christmas and all the kids are, opening their gifts for each other. Your 3 adult children will just be sitting out. As their mom, you probably should have said, look, we're going to do this. We're part of this family. If they're even doing a gift exchange. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen for Christmas. I can't imagine they're going to all be together. So now back to, in the kitchen with Christine and Peyton. And she says, I know you kids have struggled with Cody's choices. And Peyton goes, it's very frustrating. And she's referring to Cody choosing, to have Christmas with Robin. And so in her confessional, Christine said, I want Cody to have a relationship with his kids, but Cody has picked sides. He's having Christmas with Robin and her kids and Mary. Of course. Mary has become like their family dog, only not as beloved. A dog that Cody wishes would go live in another state in a B&B. Christine suggested that Robin never lived a plural life. Because as soon as she came into the family, and then she stops herself and she goes, this isn't helpful. But we all know what you were going to say. As soon as she came into the family, Cody only was with her. Cody probably only slept with her. Cody only wanted to be around her. But yeah, she's like, it's not helpful. She said, I left Cody because he had a favorite wife. And if I can see that, then the kids can too. Yeah, I'm sure they can. All right, so next we see Cody lamenting about the holidays some more. But he's really excited about this experience that he's about to have with Aurora, Robin's 18-year-old daughter from a previous marriage that Cody has adopted. Yeah, Cody's really looking forward to this. This is the first time I think I've seen a smile on Cody's face. So here's what they're going to do. Aurora is getting her ears pierced. Huh? Yeah, that's the big news. She's getting her ears pierced. Ooh, no wonder Cody's so excited. So they're in the car on the way there. Cody's being filmed, and he explains to us that I never really had a favorable opinion of pierced ears. So when I first married Mary didn't have pierced ears. And her mom and I were having a conversation about it, and her mom said that it was against the word of the gospel. Then Janelle comes into the family. She has pierced ears, but he tells her that we're not going to have pierced ears in our family because our church leaders don't like it. So Janelle took her earrings out and never wore them again. Then I met Christine, and she had 2 piercings in each ear. And I'm like, I'm kind of squeamish about piercings. So I was like, oh, too much. And she stopped wearing earrings. I think you guys know where this is going. Then Robin came into the family, and Robin had pierced ears. And her dad took her to get them. So now we see Robin in the only semi-happy confessional that I've seen her in, as she's remembering that when she came into the family, he told me that the other wives had pierced ears, but that he doesn't like it. So they gave up wearing earrings. Well, it was right around Christmas, and I found out what a grump he can be around Christmas because he hates the commercialism of it all. And there was always this pressure to like get a special gift for everyone. So I made him a deal. If he would be happy and jolly from Thanksgiving to New Year's, I'll take out my earrings and never wear them again. Okay, you get to negotiate? The other wives just knew that it wasn't a thing their family was going to do, and they took them out. I mean, I think it's ridiculous, but, they went along with it because he said their church elders didn't like it or whatever. Now, Robin, apparently Robin doesn't care about the church elders. She's going to work a deal. If you're happy and jolly from Thanksgiving to New Year's, I'll never wear my earrings again. It's so dumb. So back to Cody. So, then my opinion changed. Your opinion changed, or was it changed for you? That would be my question. Yeah, his opinion changed when Robin had started My Sister Wives Closet, which is like a jewelry business that was, Robin's brainchild. And, with all the jewelry and stuff, I was like, you know what? I'm okay. I'm okay with it. I don't want a whole bunch of piercings, but I'm okay with their ears being pierced. Wow. Robin smiling in her confessional. Cody got over it. Cody got over it? But what about the word of the gospel? Well, what about that? I feel like maybe that was just bullshit. Yeah, okay. Anyway, we have like the confessionals of all the wives now, and they're all wearing earrings. Chanel's got like big hoops in, and she's like, yeah, I just decided I really like earrings. I'm going to put them back in. Christine's wearing earrings. Mary's the only one who doesn't have pierced ears, and she said, but it's only because I have sensitive skin and I can't wear metal. So the rules have eased up on that. However, they still stuck with the rule of the kids had to be 18 before they could get their ears pierced. So anyway, I guess Aurora is 18. And Cody said, this will be the first time I've ever gone with one of my daughters to get her ears pierced. He's like so jazzed for it. I remember, I think I was like 4 or 5 when I first got my ears pierced. I don't have very many memories of my dad at all because I was 8 when he died, but he used to work for a jeweler, and I don't know really how it came about, but I just remember standing in line behind my 3 sisters, or maybe my oldest sister wasn't there. I don't remember, but I remember standing in line in our kitchen, waiting patiently for my dad to pierce our ears with a needle that he like sterilized over the stove and a potato. Yeah. The potato went behind your ear to like stabilize it, and then the needle will go straight through. That was the first time I got my ears pierced. I might have been too young. Maybe I was 4. I, kept knocking them out and stuff like that. And then the holes grew back in. So then I feel like I had my ears pierced several times, but the only other time that I can distinctly remember was when my sister Val was in college. She was doing a demonstration speech or something like that, and she brought me to college with her. I think I got to miss school and everything. I was pretty excited about that. She's 10 years older than me, so let's say she was 19. So then I was 9. And the night before, she practiced and did one ear and was practicing her speech and her timing. And then for the other ear, that was done in front of the class as her speech. And she got an A. I guess I was a good little prop. I remember all these girls coming up to me after oh, did it hurt? Did it hurt? That looks so good. It was fun. And then I don't remember much else. I have 2 on each ear. That's all I have. Let me know in the comments how many piercings you have, and if you have any good stories about getting something pierced. I have had my nose pierced. That grew back. And then that's kind of been it. And I never wear earrings anymore because I always wear my hair down. My ears, my skin is really sensitive too. I have a hard time finding earrings that don't, start to like bother me. So anyway, Cody tells us that Aurora wasn't going to get her ears pierced at all out of respect for me. But since my perspective on it changed completely, he's taking her. Yeah, I guess COVID, at the time, there was only one parent allowed in there with her. So she picked Cody, and Cody was thrilled because it's like a daddy-daughter adventure. Also, she's 18. She didn't need anybody in there with her. She could have driven herself to the mall. I just feel like she's very sheltered. Then Cody says that he doesn't remember when or if his other daughters got their ears pierced. He doesn't know who got their ears pierced, if they were home at the time. He doesn't know. He doesn't remember. So, that's fun for them. Especially now seeing his dad so excited about taking Aurora. He actually said that this will be locked in my memory forever. Jeez. I mean, at the end of the day, though, it is all about how much Cody loves that Aurora respects his authority. She's obedient. That's probably what he loves about her most. And honestly, I can't believe I've been talking about ear piercing for this long. I cannot believe this much of the show was about someone getting their ears pierced. My God. It's 2023. Oh my God. Now Cody confesses that when he was a sophomore in high school, he had his ear pierced. The guy that was squeamish about it and wouldn't let his wives wear earrings. When he was, 15? He got his ear pierced. Yeah, he remembers going to the mall with his sister and they were at the place where they were doing it. And he said, "Dare me to do it." And she didn't say anything. And he went and got his ear pierced and he said, "Well, you dared me." Oh, God. The sad thing is this tracks. It's so Cody. It really is. All right, next we have Christine visiting Janelle. She said that she goes to Flagstaff about once every 10 days or so for business. I don't know what business, but whatever. So she's helping Janelle set up a little Christmas tree because Janelle's in a little apartment right now. And they're chatting about stuff, the holidays, and Christine asks how Isabel is doing at Maddie's house. And she goes, "Okay, I think." And she said, because she calls me all the time. She's crying. She's very homesick. Janelle said, "Yeah, I mean, that's to be expected. Logan went to school in town and he wanted to quit after the first semester. He was homesick. So it's just, that's normal." However, I do think that I read that Isabel does move back home to Utah to live with Christine, and maybe she's going to college there. I don't know, but I know she's not in North Carolina anymore. Janelle talks about how she used to admire the kind of father Cody was, but since COVID, he's not been there for her kids. And there's been favoritism and spending more time with some than others. Robin's children. But according to Cody, he said, "I made it clear I don't need an apology from the boys. I just need to talk and just clear up all these rumors." But here, I think he wants them to make the effort. That's what I think. It might be a stubborn thing, but he's the father. I even though they're teenagers, I don't think it's up to them. God, you guys, I remember this scene from last year that broke my heart. It was Gabriel, that's one of Janelle's older sons, and he said that his dad called him on his birthday to ask him something. It was something about COVID, and I think Cody had COVID at the time. Something, I don't know, whatever it was. He didn't remember it was Gabriel's birthday. Gabriel thought, "Oh, my dad's calling." I think he was surprised that Cody remembered and he was calling him on his birthday, only to find out that he was just calling him for something else. And he said, "I know this was wrong, but I didn't remind him. I just wanted to see if he would remember." And he started crying. Oh, it killed me. I think he called back later and said, "Oh, it's your birthday. Happy birthday." But who knows? Robin might have reminded him. Maybe he said, "Oh yeah, I was just asking Gabriel, blah, blah, blah." Robin was probably "Oh, did you wish him a happy birthday?" Oh, shoot. This is the scenario that makes sense in my head. It might not be fair, but it's probably accurate. Anyway, it just killed me. So Christine asks Janelle, she's like, this might be too personal. You don't have to answer, but like, are things okay with you and Cody? Like, are things good with your marriage? And Janelle's like, oh, well, I mean, no. Like, she was kind of wishy-washy about it. Not that she didn't want to answer, just that the answer was kind of like she wasn't even really sure how good things were. She again said, Cody's just adamant about the kids respecting him. And unlike Aurora, her kids were like, what? They're not doing it. Yeah, I mean, respect is earned, right? I think that's what's going on. I think the kids are good kids. They, from what I've seen of these kids for the past 18 seasons, they're decent kids. Respect is earned, but I don't even think that's it. I think Cody wants devotion. In Janelle's confessional, she said, I'm not sure I want to put a lot into this, like, post-kids relationship with Cody. Like, I don't even know who this guy is anymore. I don't see that it's worth the work. She also said that she sees the part of her life with Christine and with her kids and Christine's kids to be like the most normal part of her life. That's when she feels the calmest and the best, is hanging around with Christine and all their kids. That's the most stable. And she ends the whole episode by saying that she's not sure if there is a future with her and Cody. Yeah. All right. That's it. That was episode 2. Thank you guys for being here. I hope you're enjoying this. All seasons, all episodes of Sister Wives can be found on Max and Hulu, I believe. So if you're interested in, going back and binging, you will not be disappointed. All right. That's it for me. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you liked this recap, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. And if you click on the bell icon, you will get notified every time I post something new. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.